What's going on, guys? It's Brandon back here, and welcome back to another series review. Today we've got possibly the biggest one we've had in a while, with the Toronto Maple Leafs defeating the Tampa Bay Lightning in 6 games, winning their first series since 2004 and not having to go to a Game 7. There's something that really stuck out to me in this series, and we'll get to it. Game 1, Tampa Bay wins 7-3, and I think, okay, so more of the same. Let me move the sport a little bit to not have the sun going through my head. But, yeah, something was different. Tampa, I thought Toronto was going to come out in Game 1. It was Tampa that ended up doing it. They win 7-3 in Toronto. And so I think, okay, here comes more of the same, possibly. Game 2, because Tampa won the first game, I expected Toronto to win the second. And they come out and play their best game of the series. They win 7-2. And, series is 1-1, just like I expected. And going into Game 3, Toronto wins 4-3 in overtime off I believe it was Kerfoot. That was Kerfoot or Riley that got that one. I want to say it was Riley, but I don't remember. I just know they were back-to-back overtime game. All 3 games in Tampa went to overtime. That's the thing. So I get the win in overtime there. One of them they tied it late. They might have both tied it late. I don't remember. They all kind of blend together. And then Game 4, they surprised me as they win 5-4 in overtime against Tampa in Tampa. Tampa did not win a game at home in the series. And home ice advantage, I'm sorry, home ice advantage is the biggest scam in the history of the league. It does not matter. That last change, we've seen all over this playoffs that home ice teams aren't winning. Teams on home ice, it doesn't matter what ice you're on. It's all the same ice, just in a different city in the world. Like, I'm sorry, home ice does not matter. I've been saying this forever. I've been saying it with my dad, who viciously argues with me. And I show him the numbers, and he's like, I don't care. So, Game 5, Tampa comes out, and they win 4-2. And Tampa, Leafs having been up 3-1 against Montreal in 2021, Tampa winning Game 5, I was like, oh boy. Oh boy. And then Game 6, I thought Tampa was going to win that game. I really thought Tampa was winning Game 6. Toronto gets lucky. They win 2-1 in overtime. Tavares gets the OT winner, and they are series winners. I had Toronto winning the series in 7, and I was honestly rooting for them to win the series. However, now that they have won a series, I feel kind of empty inside. I feel like I have nothing to cheer. I have nothing to root against them anymore because they've done everything they've done what everyone said they couldn't. They hadn't won a series in my lifetime. They were the only team not to do so since Florida did it last year. And it's different. 19 years and they finally have won a series. The goals in the series are pretty close, 23-21. Last year, Toronto actually outscored Tampa 25-24 in their series loss. Here, Toronto outscores them 23-21. Vasilevsky did not have a great series. Let's just put that out. He was phenomenal in Game 5. Game 6, he was good. Other than that, kind of mid. Point scorers. Marner, 2 goals, 9 assists, 11 points. Very under the radar in this series. Matthews, 5 goals, 4 assists, 9 points. Morgan Riley, who had an awful end of his year in the playoffs, he's really showing up. 3 goals, 5 assists, 8 points. Tavares, 4 goals, 3 assists, 7 points, including the OT winner in Game 6. O'Reilly, 2 goals, 5 assists, 7 points. That's your big deadline acquisition. Nylander, 2 goals, 5 assists, 7 points. I would argue that their stars showed up in a big way. Here are their big 6 guys right here. You have Marner, Matthews, Riley, Tavares, O'Reilly, Nylander. That's all the big money guys right there. All of them. On the Tampa side, you do not have the big money guys. Cirelli, 3 goals, 3 assists, 6 points. Tampa's top point scorer was under the Leafs' 6th point scorer. Kucherov, 1 goal, 5 assists, 6 points. Killorn, 3 goals, 2 assists, 5 points. Perry, 2 goals, 3 assists, 5 points. No Stamkos, no point. No Hagel. I don't know what else to say in that fact. And Perry, most of these points came in Game 1. Okay, anyway, back to my point I was making earlier from there was just something that felt different. I honestly felt Toronto did not play their best series. I thought Tampa outplayed Toronto for a majority of this series. Besides Game 2, honestly, that's the only game I can really say Toronto really took over and looked like they were going to win. Tampa dominated Game 1. Game 5 was firmly in Tampa's hands quite early. Game 6, Tampa was putting on pressure, and they tied the game in the third, and I thought they were winning this. So I guess Toronto, if anything, Game 6 was a bit deserved. Game 3, in Game 4, one of them, Tampa gave up the lead late. They should have won that one. And one of them, they lose in overtime. That just by happen. And, yeah. I'm amazed because we see the Leafs time and time again. 2017 they play Washington. They're wild card 2, heavy underdogs. They fight hard. They play the best they can, and they lose in 6. Understandable. No one's doing it. No one's giving them any crap. 2018 they lose to the Bruins again because 2013 they weren't supposed to beat the Bruins. They were down 3-1. They came back, but then the Game 7 collapse is all anyone remembers. 2018 same thing. They were down 3-1 in the series. They come back in Game 7. They have the lead and they blow it. So there's that aspect starting to come in. 2019 they have a 3-2 series lead against Boston, and they've probably been the better team throughout the series, and they lose in 7. 2020 they definitely should have beaten Columbus. Do they? No. 2021 Montreal in the 3-1 comeback. You know they should have won that series. And then 2022 against Tampa. I thought they played much better last year against Tampa than they did this year, and yet after all these years of probably outplaying their opponent and losing, this time they don't outplay their opponent and win. I'm not exactly sure how this works, but you know what? That's playoffs. My bracket so far, every team in the second round is someone I picked in my bracket, so good for me. And we got some Game 7s coming up. Tonight we have Seattle and Colorado. I kind of want Seattle to win, but Colorado is, of course, my bracket. But we'll talk about that tomorrow and when those come out. But, of course, we still have another review to do after this, and we'll get to that right now. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I shall see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.